Got it.
Hello and welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And this week we've got an interview, a really exciting interview with Charlotte from NZ Shores Immigration Services. You're going to absolutely love this.
Yes, yeah. I don't know whether I agree with this little bit of an interview, Liz, because it's about the New Zealand brain drain. And you know what? I still live in New Zealand, so how can that be so?
Well, it can't. It's just like New Zealand brain drain.
It's still clever, New Zealand, because I live here.
The biggest brain ever in the country, which is Brian Deacle.
Or is it Brian?
But yeah, we were talking to Charlotte. If you don't know, Charlotte is from NZ Shores Immigration Services. She's a good friend of ours. She's been partnered with us in our community right from the beginning, get-go. She offers immigration advice and services, obviously, because that's what her company is called. And she's just a really good person. She's just a really nice woman. They all are.
She's a good Kiwi egg.
Yeah, she was. I was going to say good egg, but then I just thought that's
I know,
a bit,
but do you know, and if you are new to the podcast and you haven't got a clue about what community we're talking about our community of people that all are moving to New Zealand or are thinking about moving to New Zealand. They want to share information. They want to get information. They want to know what to do, what shipping companies to use, what immigration advisors to use. What jobs are out there in IT? Is anyone in IT? Anyone got a job? Is there a tradie who's got a job that needs someone needs a job? And it's amazing in healthcare and everything. It's a wonderful thing to be part of. So why don't you hop on over to, where is it, Liz?
Oh, well, Brian, that's I wasn't expecting that one. I wasn't expecting that. Very good intro there.
Yeah.
You can hop over to our community by getting our free 5-day video guides. That is 5 days worth of videos about life in New Zealand that me and Brian made. They are brilliant. They are short bursts of New Zealand life and you will love them. And best of all, they're absolutely free. When you've taken those videos and you get to day 5, you will then be given information about how to join our private community. The one that Brian was just raving about, which I'm very, very happy about because normally it's me that says all the stuff about the community. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a wonderful place to be. We've had a huge influx of people join in the last year or so, and it's just like a massive family.
A wealth of information.
A wealth, yeah, but I want it to be clear that this isn't like an informational site only. This is a place, it's like, I'll put it this way. Once we met a member, we went over to Belgium traveling and we met with a member of our community. She's called Lisa. And I remember sitting at the side of this river talking to her about her move to New Zealand. And she said, do you know what the best thing about this community is? She said, when you're moving away from your own country, and I know this to be true because this happened to us.
This is why we did it.
Yeah, she said, when you're moving away from your own country, no one wants to talk to you about that move to New Zealand. They don't want to know about New Zealand. They go in a mood if you talk about New Zealand. And you know what? I get that. I really do. Because if Sonny and Tess suddenly started talking about, I don't know, Zambia or some exotic place that they were going to move to that I hadn't been to, I would kind of like think, oh, just don't you like it here? Just stop talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get it.
You do.
It's normal.
Until you go through it, or you want to keep it secret because you don't want to tell anyone yet until it's a bit more finalised and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to rub it in either. You don't want to upset
You're so excited,
people.
But like you say, there's no one to talk to.
There isn't.
Because they might be your work colleagues and you haven't told them that you leave.
I know. And you're bursting with all this excitement and all this adventure inside you because you've got these huge plans of life that's going to change for you. And you've got no one to talk to about it. So I remember her saying, she said it so beautifully. Thank you, Lisa. She said it's so beautiful. She just said, it's a place where I just feel everyone is on the same page as me. You know, we're all doing it differently. Of course, everyone's move to New Zealand is different, but you've all got the same goal in mind and you've all got the same dream. You know, it's just this big thing. So yes, while this community is, like you said, Brian, full of practical information like shipping companies and how to ship your pet and, you know, what food we have in New Zealand and how to put your kids into private school
what's
or
the
not.
Best car to
and,
buy,
yeah,
all
the
that
cars.
Sort of things.
We've got loads of channels over there. But the thing that I love about that community more than any of that is it's like a family. It's like somewhere you can go and just say, oh, do you know what? I've had a really rubbish day today.
No.
You know, I've been up all night trying to do this paperwork and it was just rubbish. And then other people come in and say, oh, don't worry, that was like it when we started our immigration process. And that's what I love about that community.
Yeah, that's it.
I really
How do I
do.
sort my US taxes out?
I
There's
know,
people in there
I
that can
know.
tell you stuff like that, you know? And the other thing is, the biggest thing I've ever found out is like, will my kitchen appliance work in New Zealand?
I know, yeah.
It's just like,
Will my iron work?
My super duper Kenwood Chefy thingy, whatever it is.
I know.
You know, I can't live without it. And it's 110 volts. We find out ways to work those.
And do you know what? We're going completely off topic with this. We really are.
No, we're not.
We weren't expecting to talk about this intro, but once we start, especially me, once I start talking about that community, I get very defensive and passionate about it. I don't want it to be just like a business thing. It's special. And every month we do a live Zoom with our community. We get on a call and we either have a professional come in, like, well, you know, one of our immigration advisors, or maybe a teacher or someone professional who's got a title, come and they talk to our community. And me and Brian are there and we just hang out for an hour and chat every month. And this month, actually next week, we haven't even told the community this yet. So if you're listening to this podcast, you've got the first dibs on this. But we're doing a live Zoom on what the difference is between Christmas and Thanksgiving and holiday time between the USA and the UK, you know, like Europe. I know we have a lot of people from Europe listening too, and Canada, to what it's like in New Zealand. And you know what, Bri? I know this is going to sound really... I was going to say it sounds really silly, but it's not silly. It's very valid. When we were moving to New Zealand, one of my biggest concerns, especially because Sonny and Tess were only 5 and 8 at the time, and they've still believed in, obviously Father Christmas is real, and for our younger audiences and Santa Claus and things like that. And I was worried about how it's going to be moving to New Zealand in a country that didn't sell it. It was in the sun, you know, Christmas is in the sun here. And how would that look? And how would I feel? And would I still be able to celebrate the way that I'd been used to? And it was a real big... I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. I just couldn't find any information.
Yeah. But I think that's why you came here, Liz, is because you swapped your February winter cold hours birthday for hot hours in the New Zealand sun.
Yeah.
And mine ended up being in the winter. Thanks.
So I'm really, really excited about this month's live call. Obviously, this is just for members only. And this is by no way like, we're just teasing you. But I'm just telling you, to give you an idea, it's going to be, that's the kind of thing that we participate in. Yeah. It's just things that you can't find anywhere else on the internet are in this community. Anyway... To get those free 5 videos.
Where is it, Liz? What did we hang out?
To get those free 5-day videos that lead to this fantastic community that we love and adore, you can go to
www.nzahead.com/free. Or the Kiwi way is www.nzahead.com/free.
Free, FREE, yes. And that will take you to those videos. Right, but... What we're talking about today is the New Zealand brain drain. We're talking to Charlotte from Immigration Services. She's going to tell us about some exciting changes that are happening in immigration in 2025 and just talk to you about what's happening in the world of immigration in New Zealand. Yeah. So sit back.
So Charlotte from nzshores.com.
Yes, sit back.
Let's go over
Her
that.
details are in the description below. Like I say, if you join the community, she's part of that community. Sit back and enjoy the show. And if we don't speak to you, which we may not do until after Christmas, you are wonderful. I know this will make it not an evergreen episode, but I just want you to know that we love you. We love you listening to this podcast. And we hope that your New Zealand adventures and your New Zealand dream become a reality in 2025. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the show and I'll speak to you at the end.
Yeah, and I'll go multicultural and say happy holidays to everybody. Yes. And see you next time. See you now. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Got it.
Welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. Everything you need to know about moving to and living in New Zealand.
There's a whole world here.
So nice to be with you again.
We call it Aotearoa around here, bro.
You'll be right.
We are your hosts, Liz and Brian.
Amazing New Zealand in the southern seas.
See, that's where I belong. That's home.
Charlotte, good afternoon and welcome back to the podcast. Thrilled to have you with us again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me again, guys. I love chatting with you and connecting with your community.
So, Charlotte, before we jump in, we've got some exciting updates for 2025 happening. But you mentioned something on the community the other day, and it really perked our ears. You talked about the New Zealand brain drain. And I'd just like you to just to clarify what that actually means, what it means for New Zealanders, what it means for immigrants. And what is the New Zealand brain drain? What does that mean?
Yeah, just to let you know on that point, brain, I used to spell my name as brain. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I do.
Sorry.
I often do that, get brain and brine mixed up. So sorry, it's my fingers moving too fast. So yeah, sorry. So yeah, the New Zealand brain drain, I think, is something that has plagued New Zealand for probably all of time since, New Zealand was colonized and people started migrating and then realizing that there's a big wide world out there. My dad is 76 and he talks about the brain drain happening when he was in his 30s with a lot of people disappearing offshore for various reasons. And often the main one we find is because we are this tiny little country at the bottom of the world. And so a lot of Kiwis like to travel. So unlike America or Europe, we don't have a whole lot of neighbours around us. We've got Australia, a few hours away in the Pacific Islands, but Kiwis love to get out and explore the world. So we often find ourselves in a position where a lot of particularly younger Kiwis will go off, they'll head off to the likes of Europe and do their OE or London or America, wherever it may be in the world. And they take all of these knowledge and skills that they've learned at university and growing up here, and they go and actually, unfortunately for New Zealand, they take them off to benefit elsewhere. So it creates what we call a brain drain. So we lose a lot of those knowledge and skills to overseas. And it feels like it's been exacerbated right now, particularly because we had a lot of people come back during COVID. So we had a lot of these amazing people come back into the country, after having spent years offshore, because New Zealand was this little isolated bubble at the bottom of the world, and everyone thought, hey, this is a great place to hunker down. So we brought a lot of those skills back into the country. But now that the world's opened back up and people are starting to move again, we're actually starting to experience another brain drain. There's a lot of statistics going around about record numbers of Kiwis leaving, but it's not because New Zealand's a terrible place to be. It's just purely because Kiwis are getting back out and exploring the world again now that, we're able to do so and people are confident that we're not going to have border closures randomly anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
So as an immigration advisor, do you see this as a positive that we can now, that there's more jobs opening up to people who want to move with their families over to New Zealand? Have you seen that? Yeah.
We see it as a really good thing for migrants. So if you are wanting to move to New Zealand, 2025 is actually going to be a really, really good opportunity for you to do so. We have had a lot of Kiwis leave in the last 12 months for the reasons I've just mentioned. And what that means is that when there's less Kiwis, there's less people available to do jobs in New Zealand, which means we actually really need migrants to come in and plug those gaps. So it actually creates, from our perspective, a perfect storm for migration, because we've lost a whole bunch of key skills and knowledge out of the country. And so now we actually need to import it back in to get New Zealand back to thriving as the economy picks up next year. So I think we're going to see a lot more job listings coming up, definitely first quarter of next year. And there's going to be a lot more opportunities available for people.
So just on that brain drain thing, what would be the top 5 categories of the brain drain?
Oh, that's probably a hard one.
I should have maybe asked that before, shouldn't I? Before we started. Yeah.
That's all right. I've been in this job for 10 years and we've kind of really seen things being quite stable in terms of where the biggest demand comes from. Trades is a big one. Particularly a lot of tradies do go to the likes of Australia or even to the UK and Europe, because sometimes, particularly when they're younger, with less commitments, they can go off and earn a lot more money. So there are a lot of tradies that will go off into different parts of the world when they're in their early 20s through to 30s. So that's always a big gap in New Zealand. So anything trades related. The other thing that will impact trades is that as we kind of come out of a really slow economic year and next year starts to build again, which we're already kind of starting to see, which is exciting. There will obviously, there'll be an increase in construction, so trades will start booming again. And even if we're not losing people, New Zealand just we don't breed enough of our own people to actually be able to fill all of those critical shortages when that construction industry is really tearing ahead. So that's always a key one. ICT is a big one as well. So a lot of people will head off overseas again, because in certain places they can go get varied experience offshore before they come home. So we always have a gap in ICT as well. And definitely healthcare. I mean, everywhere in the world is struggling to get healthcare workers. In New Zealand, we would love to have you. So if you are a healthcare worker and you are wanting to come down to little old New Zealand and live in our slice of paradise, we would love to have you. But those, I'd say those are probably our 3 key areas. But I mean, look, I do visas for people that have honestly every single job under the sun you could think of. So even if you're not in those key sectors, there's still plenty of opportunities, because there's obviously a lot of industries that, you know, go around those key industries that then plug into all of those skills shortages as well.
A good question, Bri. Really good question. And do you know what I love about you, Charlotte? And you surprise me with this every single time we interview you, is you're so good at just answering off the top of your head. Honestly, if someone gave me that question, I'd be like, oh no, hang on, I just have to go and research it. So I appreciate your openness and your willingness to just answer every question that we throw at you. So thank you for that. Has the migration, what's the word I'm looking for? The government, have they made it easier for immigrants to come in, or is it still, how's that looking for everyone now? Because I know that was quite hard at one point. How's it looking?
So we have had an interesting year in the visa space. So things went from processing really, really quickly because we really needed people. Post-COVID, we had a shortage of skilled people in the country. So often what we see is immigration won't necessarily adjust policy, but they adjust the way they process. So when things are moving really quickly, we need lots of people, applications become quite low touch because they understand that the economy needs people and they can't hold things up. When the economy slows down, applications become what we call a lot more high touch. So they look at everything a lot closer. So they haven't played with policy, but they've played with the way they assess applications. So applications become high touch, which means that they look at things a lot more thoroughly, which has actually slowed everything down quite significantly. So we haven't had too many shifts in policy over the last 12 months. But heading into next year, as the economy starts to pick back up, we will likely see that immigration will move back to that low touch model. So they won't over-assess things. They won't actively go and find problems with applications, which is what we kind of feel like they're doing at the moment. So they will start moving things through a lot faster. The big thing we are expecting, actually, we've got 2 big things that we know are on the horizon for next year. So we do know they're going to look at the skilled migrant category again, which is one of our 4 pathways to residence that we have at the moment for skilled migrants. When our last government changed that October 2023, they made it a lot harder, particularly for those tradesmen to qualify. So we've had a bit of a gap. So we've got the green list, which has a bunch of tradesmen on tier 2 of that green list, but there's a whole bunch of occupations within that which were kind of missed out. So we do know they're looking at that, and there will be an announcement early 2025, whatever that means. We're hoping it's first quarter of next year, that just give a bit more flexibility for particularly tradies to be able to qualify for residence, which we desperately need, because in order to attract those skills and retain them, the government needs to make it easier for those skilled people to stay. We don't know what that looks like. They haven't really given us any hints or signals as to what that looks like, but it will definitely be on the horizon. So no doubt we'll be doing another one of those videos with that really excitement announcement as soon as we get it. The other thing that we are really excited about is, so the national government, who is our government that we have in at the moment, they campaigned quite heavily on what we call the Parent Boost visa. And that's basically a 5-year visitor visa that will allow your parents to come into the country. We don't know all of the details, but at the moment it looks like you'll be able to hold that visa for a maximum of 10 years. So you'll be able to have 2 5-year visas for your parents. And part of the fee will be quite big. Again, we don't know what that looks like, but the fee will be quite big because a portion of it will cover sort of like a healthcare insurance. And that's due to be in place by the end of next year. So their goal is November 2025, could come sooner, but I had been emailing the minister's office about it last week, and all they said was we have a lot to work through. So then they weren't planning on working on that till the start of next year, but that's going to be a really cool thing. Just to plug a gap between your parents coming out to visit on a short-term visit versus qualifying for residence. So that will, give them another option to spend an extended period of time in the country.
That's huge. That's because, like we've said before on this show, that's what a big deciding factor, isn't it? It's like leaving your family behind. So if you have got that option, how wonderful to be able to use that. Do you know, I was just thinking then when you were talking, I just thought, this is just, you could see this as a negative. In some ways, you could think, everyone's leaving New Zealand and all these jobs are like, but actually, I see it as a freshness. It's almost like we've always said that about this country. It feels very fresh and new, and everything is possible. I don't mean like, it's perfect or anything like that, but I just mean it has that feeling about it, like not stagnant and not like, oh, well, you can't do that. And I honestly believe that is because there is this turnover, this freshness always happening, bringing new people in and bringing these new skills in and learning from all these different cultures and things like that. I just think it's very exciting. I really do. I think it's really exciting.
I do too. And look, I don't view it as a negative. So, I'm in my early 30s and pretty much all of my friends have gone and done a stint overseas at some point. So, whether it's been a year or two or even just had one friend come back after 7 years overseas. And it was just purely because they wanted to get out, travel, be placed in different parts of the world where they can get more experience and knowledge. So it's not necessarily that people are leaving New Zealand because it's not a good place to be. It's just purely because, hey, we want to go check the world out and we're so isolated that a lot of people just think it's easier to move somewhere else for a period of time. But most of the people I know, and even like a lot of my parents' friends who, like I said, my dad talks about the brain drain and he's 76. So he talks about that happening over 40 years ago at one point. And most of their friends have moved home at various points of time as well. So it's not that people don't want to be here. It's just we also want to go out and explore the world. So Kiwis are migrating often for different reasons, but we're no different to people wanting to come here. We just want to go experience a different part of the world for a while.
That's what I was going to say, because back in 2009, we were moving to New Zealand, and you kind of look at it and go, we either do it or we shut up and carry on living where we are. So, if you're going to do it. And it's like I've always said, if you don't like it, you go back to where you came from. Yeah. But at the end of the day, every country needs immigrants because everybody leaves and everybody comes and everybody goes and it's just shifting around. It's what you call a churn rate, isn't it? It's like, you lose this many, but you get this many back. And it's a different skill. It's a different mindset. Going back to that thing with tradies, some of the most well-trained tradies I've ever met have been from New Zealand because, you've got to be registered. You've got to be licensed. You've got to be, you can't just, rock up at a building site and say, yep, I'm a labourer. And it's like, but what do you do? Because you're going to be doing this. Yeah. You're going to be doing that. So you need a ticket for this and you need a ticket for that. So we need skills. Everywhere does.
And we are only a country of 5 million people too. So when things are really great in the economy and there's a lot happening for businesses, hey, we actually just don't breed enough people to fill all the gaps we need in the economy. So add that brain drain in there, and we absolutely need migrants to come in and help us out down here in little old New Zealand. Yeah,
and it's the skilled migrants that every country is after. Yeah.
Exactly. We're just fighting everyone else to try and attract you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Charlotte, before we let you go, is there anything else that you want people who are sitting, listening to this or watching this thinking, oh, well, actually, this is really positive because I didn't know that, I thought that I was completely off the list. And what you've just said about the announcement, hopefully in 2025, is going to open up lots more opportunities, lots more jobs. Is there anything else that people need to know or any advice you would give them before we leave, before we see out the end of 2024?
Oh, that's scary, isn't it? Yes. So the list thing, honestly, if I had $1 for every day I got asked about, oh, my occupation's not on this list, can I migrate? Don't get too caught up in the list. The lists are, so it's called the green list now. It is a set of occupations which are of critical shortage in New Zealand. But like I said, I do visas for people from all types of roles, all types of industries. It's not just limited to being on a shortage list or a green list, sorry. So if you aren't on a list, don't panic. You will still have plenty of opportunities to migrate. Like I said, those are the key areas of critical shortage, but we need people from all different walks of life. So I think the biggest thing, if you are interested, get in touch with us. My email is charlotte@nzshores.com. Reach out, send your CV and your date of birth. We can do an eligibility assessment and we can have a chat about what those options for migration look like. Because, to be fair, you probably have a really good chance of migrating, particularly next year. The other thing I'll add is for anyone who's been trying to apply for jobs for the last 12 months, things have been slow. So it's just been one of those markets for the last year. But we're actually, weirdly enough, right before Christmas, suddenly I've had a whole bunch of people get job offers. So
Right.
I think we're definitely shaping up to have a really positive 2025 for migration.
Oh, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
I think that's what we need, isn't it,
that's
everybody?
fantastic.
Yeah.
And before I let you go, is it just because I've been thinking about this, is it still the case that when there is a job come up in New Zealand that they have to put it out to, like the employer has to put it out to New Zealanders first before they put it out to immigrants? Is that still the case? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So Immigration New Zealand want to see that employers are first trying to attract local talent, which is fair enough. I mean, we have to make sure that we're looking after our locals first. But again, like I said, we are only a population of 5 million. We do lose people to overseas every single year. So that does mean that there are plenty of gaps. So we don't really tend to find it too hard for employers to actually say, hey, there aren't suitable Kiwis available, because the reality is there often isn't hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Kiwis applying for those jobs because they're just not there. So yes, they have to advertise. So if you are applying for jobs, you will go through the same process as what a Kiwi does when you apply for a role. It'll be, did you apply, they'll interview. So it is still a key component of it, but it's definitely not a roadblock.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I found out when, I used to employ people coming over, and yes, you could find a Kiwi to do it, but he still didn't have, or she didn't have the skill set, not the mindset, but the skill set that would take another 3 years to learn. And that's why you need that skill. Margaret, I need them now. I don't need them in 3 years. That would be great if you had a crystal ball that you could go, we can build the business on this person for the next 4 or 5 years. Yeah. So that's why you need them now. And that's why sometimes you can't employ a Kiwi. Yeah.
And that's why migrants get hired, is because, yes, there are Kiwi, like you say, Kiwis available to train, but often if your business is growing and you've got a project coming up or whatever it might be, you actually need someone who can walk in day one and do the job. You don't want to spend years waiting for someone to do their apprenticeship or finish their qualifications. So that's where our migrants fill those really critical gaps.
Yeah.
All right, Charlotte. Well, anyone following this podcast will know that you are a member of our community. We work together. You're on our community. You're there to chat to people, to answer their questions. You've got your own channel over there, your immigration channel. We just want to say a huge thank you to that. You go above and beyond anything that you've ever promised us that you offer. You really do. Your company is fantastic. We always recommend you guys. We love you. And just want to say a big thank you for everything you do within our personal community, for being with us. So thank you, Charlotte.
Thanks for having me. I love being part of it. So thank you for having me.
And we'll put your email and your links and everything like that in the description. But until next time, we will see you in 2025.
Oh, Merry Christmas, guys.
Yes, Merry Christmas. And as they say, we'll see you next year.
Yes.
See you next year.
That sounds a long way off, doesn't it?
Thanks so much, Charlotte. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Take
care.
Bye.
See you now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this week. We have loved having you here with us.
If you love this week's show, please share this with your friends. Send it to anybody you know that wants to think about moving to New Zealand, and get on over here yourself.
And tell them how brilliant it is as well. And also, if you haven't signed up for our free 5-day video guide showing you what life is really like in New Zealand, then go over to the website and sign up. You are missing out. This is brilliant. Go over to www.nzahead.com/free and we will send you 5 days worth of videos about what life is like in New Zealand. You are going to love it. So one more time, that website that you need to sign up for the free 5-day guide is www.nzahead.com/free. So we're going to see you next week. Until then, have a great week and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, girl. Bye.
Bye.